Hi, everyone. I am Becca. I am an alcoholic, and I'm going to tell you my story on how Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life. So, this story might be triggering to some. There's a lot in my story. Um, I start off. My mother, she she just she wasn't the best of parents, and I was addicted to cocaine when I was first born, allergic to cigarettes. Well, she ended up splitting up with my dad, moving me from Florida to Tennessee. And so I didn't have a father figure growing up. I had a big brother. And then at the age of 7, I kind of become a mom myself. At at the age of 8, I become another mom. My two half sisters, I ended up having to raise. My mom ended up in a wheelchair, and by the age of 10, things really started happening bad in my life. Um, I started drinking. There was guys that would come into my room and do bad things to me. I didn't know it until I was married, and I got married at 17. And a couple years later, I found out my whole childhood and what was happening was my mom was selling me so she could make money to pay the bills and everything else. And I've had to have a lot of work done to help me. And if it wasn't for Alcoholics Anonymous, I'd probably still be holding that resentment against her and that hatred. But I have to say I've always loved my mom, even though I understand today how sick she was. And she would let me drink. At 13, I was drinking every single weekend. I mean, ooh. And I remember if she wouldn't let me have it, I would go get it. I mean, she wasn't keeping me from it. I I I like to numb reality. I knew what alcohol would do, so I drank it. And it also helped me stay asleep so I wouldn't have to deal with what was going on at night. And at 13, I was smoking weed with my mom. At 15 is when I got with my ex-husband now. He's my ex-husband now. And I started doing meth. And I thought that was the best thing in the world because I could take care of my sisters, my mom, the house was clean, I could go to work. I mean, it was super. And it quieted my mind because I do have a little bit of the ADHD. So in my head, it was just a miracle. It was the miracle. It's the best thing in the world. And so I was on that stuff for a long time. When I was 20, 'cause see, like I said, I got married at 17. My mom, she ended up taking me to North Carolina because in Tennessee they won't let one parent marry. You have to have both parents. And I don't think my dad would have approved of that. So she took me to North Carolina. She said she wouldn't sign my emancipation papers. She was afraid that she would get my sisters took from her because she was an unfit parent. She couldn't take care of them anyways. And so I ended up getting married. And shoo, that was a rocky road there. And at 20 years old, I had my son. And I quit everything. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke weed. I was smoking cigarettes, and but I wasn't smoking anything else. I quit the meth, and 2 years later, I had my daughter, and it my daughter was 2 years old, My son was 4 when I started picking up drinking again. And my ex-husband, he would stay out all the time. I was the one that would have to go to work with his mom, cleaning houses and stuff. And so when I would get back home, I thought I had the right, like I didn't understand how horrible alcohol was, but I turned into the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I was evil. I was evil. I thought I had brass kahunas, and so when my ex would say something to me, I would fight, and it got really, really bad. And when I was 28 years old, 10 years later, we were both drunk, and he did the one thing in life that he robbed me of my innocence. He sodomized me, and I couldn't take it. I understood if he was out late at night, whoever he was with, whatever he was doing. I didn't care about the women. I didn't care about that. But when he hurt me, I left. 2 weeks later, I took my 2 kids, my 2 turtles, and my 2 dogs, and I moved about 30 miles away. And things really started to downward spiral. Um, I I let him have the kids because I thought, I'll just go back whenever Bug has a doctor's appointment and get him for that weekend, and we're gonna have a good divorce. Right. So I let him he come up there and he got the kids, and well, when I went to go get him, he wouldn't let me have him back. So when I couldn't have my kids, I would drink I couldn't sleep, so I would drink so much. So, so, so much. And we ended up getting a divorce. I was proving myself that I wasn't gonna move to Texas to go and with my dad and take the kids with me. I was staying in Tennessee, and he never followed the rules or the laws, but I thought that I still had rights to my kids. I thought that my lawyer told me that it was just the divorce we signed off on, not the kids. So the visitation and the child support and all that I had to pay, like I thought it would end when I proved that I'm not just some person partying or and to beat it all, my mom was the one that was the visitation person or whatever to say, oh, yeah, she's home. She ain't having no wild party. Well, it ended up being the stuff happened and I lost my rights. And he would never, every time I went to get him, he would be somewhere else. And it was just so traumatizing. And I went to court. I didn't have no money. I represented myself and I lost my rights. They said I wasn't protecting my kids, and it was horrible. So instead of me putting all my energy into fighting for them, I put it into drinking. And I was buying this stuff out of the store. I mean, it was legal, right? It's okay. And it was bath salt. And it was like doing meth again. It was it supercharged me. I could get all this stuff done. I was working all these different stores, cleaning them, and like it was just and it was legal. So I thought nothing was wrong with it. And then they got it out of the stores, and so then I guess it became illegal, and I'd go to Asheville and North Carolina and go pick up this other stuff, and I got a hold of this gravel, and it was amazing. I quit my job. I couldn't have my kids. I didn't care. I wanted to die. I was trying to kill myself. I mean, I was doing so much. I don't think an elephant would have been able to handle it. And but my God had another path for me, and he brought me through all this heartache, all this stuff, and I was in and out of jail. And I'm telling you, the crazy stuff I seen. I mean, this one person did some and jumped out this window, and or not the window, but they went out and jumped off the porch. They had a chair. They went off running. What, I never seen them or the chair, and it was like a two-story building. Like, it was off the deck. I've seen people jumping out windows. I've seen people in the bushes. I've seen people running naked down the, just running naked. I don't know what they's running from, but the crazy stuff that I've seen. And I mean, it's really incredible that I'm alive today. And I was in and out of jails. I'm surprised that I wasn't put in federal prison. And so when I got out of jail that in 2015, I guess I was you know, fooling around with somebody, and I kept getting sick, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. My friend's like, he done knocked you up. I said, no, 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 no. Back in 2013, I had cervical cancer. They cut my cervix off, told me I wouldn't have no kids. My other kids, it was high risk pregnancies. They were, it's hard. Well, come to find out, I was pregnant. And so I quit everything. I didn't touch anything. And that's when I knew something had to change, but I didn't know how to change it. So I was still running around with all the people that I shouldn't be running around with. And but I was trying to get out of that life. And like I said, I just didn't know how. And so I end up getting me a little apartment, and I have Arabella is my little baby, my gift from God. I had her, and I was seeking help, and I was trying really hard, and I ended up getting this in this program called Mother and Child Connection. It was a 3-month program. You had to be there every day for 3 or 4 hours, and you had to pass all these drug tests, and you had to do all this. Well, before the interview and everything, like, I had the date set up when I'm supposed to go and all this. Um, on August 2nd, 2017, I found out my mom passed away, and I had my brother there, and smoked some weed in honor of my mom. And this is how crazy. There was a bottle of wine sitting there. I opened it up and drank it. It was nasty. Ooh, I was like, okay. And next thing you know, there's a knock at the door. Here's the police. And I ended up going to jail on this warrant. I mean, it was just like everything was falling apart. Everything I touched, everything was falling apart. Well, you know, I thought I was fine, and I got out, and I mean, it was insane. It was insane. All these people was at the house. My brother was there. Then this person comes running up in my house a few days later, and the cops was chasing them, and child services cops, they were called. I took a drug test, and I told them, look, my mom died, and this and that. And I guess the weed had stuff in it too. They said I was doing some kind of party drug or something. I don't even know, but I, it was crazy. I see where my God was with me the whole time. I didn't see it then, but so I ended up having a case, and I'm like, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm trying, I got this program. It's outpatient. I'm going to be going to, I had a job. I had a place to live. They said all the squatters there. I can't live there. I have to go somewhere else. Well, I went to my brother's girlfriend's mom's house where all these kids was and where my brother was. And here comes the police there. There ended up being some kind of meth lab underneath the trailer, this like double wide trailer thing, and they got up under the underpinning, and it was insane. I told him, look, I already have a case, and I passed my drug test, and this was September 1st. And I passed my drug test. They did this stuff on Arabella, but yet they still took her from me and put her in foster care because I had a case. My sobriety date is August 11th of 2017. So there was a few days there that I went stupid, but I didn't stay in it. I knew I had to fight for Arabella. And I just didn't know what to do. Being a single mom, still getting her took. Like I said, I went to that program. Well, they told me that I had to go to Alcoholics Anonymous and find a sponsor. So I said, okay, let's do it. And that's when my life changed. I kept going, and I found me another place to live. And it's actually in walking distance of the Renaissance Center here in Kingsport. And I'm pointing to it. But so I would walk there every day, a few times a day. I was going to the meetings, I was cleaning houses. I started me a business. I clean houses and do odds and end jobs for people. And I I started to see a change. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. I didn't know how I was going to take care of Arabella. And when I started working through the steps, one of the sponsors I had early on, she said, you just got to have faith in God. Ask, and this will happen. And I'm like, right, okay, like it's that easy. And believe it or not, it was just that easy. The work wasn't easy, but asking when I would pray to my higher power, my God, things happen. One day my rent was due. I walked up and before I left the house, I prayed. I walked up there to the Renaissance Center. Somebody said, God says you need this. What? It was the exact amount of my rent. I ended up getting in 2 months, I got Arabella back. And the judge says normally that don't happen. And he was so proud of me. And I'm like, I'm just a mom, this is what parents should do. And he's like, but they usually don't, especially in my circumstance. I didn't have no support, and a lot of people fall back. Well, I didn't want to be one of them statistics. I want to be one of the 7 women that graduated out of 100, graduated the mother and child program. I wanted to better my life so Arabella doesn't have to live like I lived. So I kept on and I kept on, and it was amazing. One day I was like, God, what am I gonna do? Arabella don't have no diapers. She has like a couple left. And I went to a meet and I come back, and on my front stoop, it was an apartment complex. So it was like sitting in front of the door. And there was a box of diapers, and she had to have certain ones because she has a sensitive booty, and a box of wipes too. I was amazed at the power of the program, the power of my God. I still yet didn't understand it, but I kept doing it. I kept going. I didn't have to keep going to the meetings after I got, I think, 36 or something. And it's the first night that I walked in there, I got a sponsor like they wanted me to do. Like, but the people said, keep coming back. And I see these people picking up 10 years, 20 years, and I'm like, how? And they're so happy. And I am full of joy. And I've always had that light. And I heard one day about the glow stick analogy. And I'm like a glow stick. I had my God had to break me and break me and break me so I could shine his light. And it is so amazing today because I kept going. And the support, I don't have to worry about, if I have family. I have family in every state around the world. All I have to do is walk in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm gonna find somebody just like me doing the same thing I'm trying to do. And I just kept on, and I went from walking, met a lady in there, and her husband passed away, and she's like, how about you and Arabella move in with me? Your rent will be cheaper. And I said, okay. And I don't trust people. Like, you can't even trust your parents or anybody around you. You don't trust people too well. And so I said, okay. My rent was due and I didn't have the money. I said, God, is this what you want me to do? That's what I did. And I helped her and she helped me. And I ended up getting my driver's license back. I ended up getting a car and my business started growing. And I work all the time now. And I started picking up sponsees. The joy that I get when I'm helping a lady work the steps and that light comes on, like mine come on. I mean, I went from looking over my shoulder every minute. Well, I still don't hold still too much, but I'm tired right now. But I'm always bebopping. But I don't have to have that fear today. I have that faith today. And I get to show other ladies the faith. This program works. And it's really it's really simple, but it's hard. And that makes no sense. But the work I put into it is how I stay clean and sober. Being a help to somebody when they call me in the middle of the night crying. I might not have answers or solutions, but I am an ear. And that makes such a huge difference. Whenever Arabella was took from me and I was all alone, completely alone, the ladies at my ladies meet was like, here's phone numbers. Start picking up the phone and calling us. Like me, like I do this on my own, like I've done everything on my own. I can do this. And one day I picked up the phone and called a lady, and she's still my best friend now. She helps me so much. When I was in this bad car wreck, she gave me a car. I mean, it's an old car, but it runs, and it's just amazing. I've never felt love until I walked into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. And today in 2020, them big kids that I didn't get to see, I got to see him again. I got an amazing man that heard my story and said, if you want to see your kids, I will take your case free of charge. And it's amazing today because my kids talk to me. My son is in college. That was my firstborn when I was 20. He's going to college to be a welder, and I'm able to help him put tires on his vehicle because they were bald. And I get to do that today. I'm not out here tweaking in the bushes. I'm not out here in the ditch drunk to death. No, not today. Not today. I get to talk with my daughter when she's going through a hard time because she's a teenager. I actually get to go get her this weekend, and I'm so excited. And she has a job, and she's 17. She'll be 17 in December. Almost. She's an adult, and I missed so many years. But thanks to this program, I get to watch him finish growing up. I might have missed them years, but I'm here today. And when she needs to call me crying, I get to pick up the phone. I get to remember the conversation, even though I can be forgetful sometimes. But, it is so amazing the family that I got back, what was restored to me. And it would have never happened if it wasn't for Alcoholics Anonymous and me having that desire to stay clean and sober and to get better and to do different. And I mean, I've went through so much ups and downs. 7 years clean and sober. And last year, I had the opportunity to rent to own this house that I'm sitting in now. And I have a 5-year contract. I get to buy a home, a forever home. I get to do that. I thought that would never be possible. I could never do all these things in life. I couldn't be there for my kids. I didn't know how I was going to feed Arabella. And today I'm able to put a roof over her head. I'm able to have a vehicle to drive to work. I homeschool her today. And it's amazing getting to spend all that time with my baby girl. And I wouldn't be able to do any of it if it wasn't for Alcoholics Anonymous. That's why I jump in with both feet. I took the suggestions. For a while there, the only lines I was doing was the lines of Oreos and the Oreos back. But I've got my health under control there too. I had to watch out so I don't become a diabetic with all them Oreos. Ooh. And I'm telling you, it is an amazing life. I get to go to the grocery store and buy whatever I need. That's a good feeling. I have clean clothes on today. That is an amazing feeling. And I recently got with a man that is so good to me. He's in the program. I never thought that possible. I mean, all my life I've just had tragedy after tragedy. And it is truly amazing at the family I've built thanks to Alcoholics Anonymous. The people around me, thanks to Alcoholics Anonymous. But when I went in there, I didn't think I could ask for help. I didn't think I could be like, no, I've always did everything on my own. So today I ask ladies, here's my phone number. Please call me. I'm not a burden. It is so hard to do things on your own. Today I don't have to. I'm surrounded by, and I went to the beach, my first ever vacation a few weeks ago, and was talking. I found somebody in the program down there, and I was like, wow. And it was the best time. I get to do things today, remember things. I don't have to be drunk. I don't have to I don't have to numb my feelings. I get to feel my feelings, and that's something different. I still get outside help from my therapist and things like that. Sometimes we need a little bit of extra help, and it's amazing at the healing process I'm still going through. It'll be a lifelong process that I'm going to go through, but it is it is truly a different scene when you go from running from the law, dashing into bushes. I got drunk, so drunk one night. I woke up and my whole face was missing, and I didn't remember what I did. I didn't remember how I did it. My brother said, "Yeah, you fell down my concrete steps. You were a little tipsy." I guess he took me home and put me into bed. And I thought that was normal. The life I grew up, I thought all that was normal, and it's not. I don't have to get hurt today. I don't have to hurt myself. I can heal today. And I get to raise my kids, all thanks to Alcoholics Anonymous. I get to help women and watch their eyes light up when they finally get it. It took me a while. It took me a while. I didn't understand it, but I kept coming back. I kept coming back. No matter what you go through in life, there is a way out. There is a way out. I still got a little bit more time. Let me see. There's Now that I'm 7 years clean and sober, I go with my sponsor and all her sponsees, and we have a group and we do studies. So, and it's through the big book, and it's amazing because the steps are always teaching me. It's new and different every time I work the steps with my sponsor, and it's different doing it with a whole bunch of ladies because this is the first time I'm doing that, and I really love it because I get to get closer to them and we all get to heal together because my alcoholic brain is still does alcoholic things. Just not drinking, but other stupid things. So it's all a learning process, and these steps, they saved my life. Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life. I thank y'all for listening to my story.